welcome to the Mom to Mom show, brought to you by ECRC and Martoma Productions, live on the Chaldean Moms of Metro Detroit page. My name is Lisa Denha. I'm your host for tonight, and I'm going to be talking to our very own mom bloggers. And I have three bloggers here. I have Rachel from Rachel Wife Life, Lisa from Work, Cook, Clean, and Repeat, and Zena from EduKids Mom. Ladies, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And thank you for talking to us about your journey. I know there's a lot of women that are interested in blogging, so I'm sure there's going to be many that are going to be tuning in to hear what you have to say. And for anybody that's watching that would like to ask a question, please feel free to ask a question. I will be watching, and I would gladly relay the message over to our bloggers to see if they can help you out with any questions you may have. So ladies, thank you for coming here tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to be a blogger? Rachel, how about we start with you?
Okay. So I am 29, going on 30 next week. And I have two little boys, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and then another boy on the way. And what inspired me to start my page really was the fact that I live a pretty unconventional life in terms of the way I cook and the products I use. I'm very holistic, and my method of parenting and educating my kids is very different than the norm. I noticed a lot of people were intrigued by that. I would get questions all the time, text messages, calls, and I decided just to start a page where I could place all my information in one spot and people can reference it whenever they need.
That's great. And you've been doing this for about a year?
A year and a half now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Lisa, how about with you? You haven't been doing it as long.
No.
But what inspired you?
So I started my blog when during COVID, and I was working full time. I had just had my third child. I was breastfeeding. I was homeschooling, and I was juggling a lot of hats. So I needed some sort of outlet. And I thought to myself, you know, if I'm going through a hard time and I'm trying to figure out how to get through this hard time, maybe I can help somebody else, empower someone else with, you know, whether it be recipes or faith-based things. So that's really what helped me, you know, do it. It was something I kind of always wanted to do, but I would say that COVID, you know, really pushed me because we had time, you know, so.
That's when you started.
Yeah, I started it during the pandemic.
So now both of you work a lot around what goes on in your own life. But Zena, your blog is a little different. So can you tell us a little bit about your blog and what inspired you?
Well, I never really thought about blogging. I had just had my third child, and it's a little bit about me. I have 2 boys and a girl, 4, 3, and 1, almost 2.
And you have time to blog.
I try to make time.
Yes. We're all kind of jealous of you. Where does she get the time?
Well, I was a teacher for 15 years, and when I stopped working after my second, I knew I wanted to somehow create educational products. So I reached out to Vanessa Pata, who constructed a logo for me, and when she constructed that logo, she also constructed an Instagram page for me. So I sat on it for like about a year and didn't know what I was going to do. And then same thing with Rachel. People would ask me questions all the time about education, about schools, about kids, products. And one day, Marianne Nefsu, who also is a blogger, she had a talk on Instagram and was like, if you ever think that you want to blog or you want to start something, just do it. So I literally started that blog that night, and then I'd follow Michigan Mom and Simply Healthy Mama, who are amazing women.
Yes.
If you see what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of just did my own thing, and mainly like a play-based educational content. And I do the same thing like Lisa, like cooking and recipes and how I parent and just everyday life.
So now it's taking up a lot of your time. Has it changed a little bit of the way you live?
So, on a positive note, I was blown away by how much I learned from my followers. I connected with so many like-minded moms.
Absolutely.
I love that aspect of it. In a negative sense, there are times where the blog becomes a chore to me. And when that happens, or if I feel like my child's behavior is taking a toll, if I'm on my phone too much, I take a break. I step back because I didn't start the blog, as a form of livelihood. I started it to help inspire other moms and educate moms. And, it's an extracurricular thing for me, and I don't want it to be a chore. So when that does happen, I take a step back and I let it be. I give myself that break and then come back to it. And I just ensure that it's always fun and it's always a positive thing in my life.
That's a very good way of looking at it. Very, very nice. Now with blogging, you are actually really letting somebody else into your life right now, every day.
Totally.
Do you have any concerns, Zena? In your case, you have your kids on your blog.
Yeah, I'm careful.
Many times.
I do worry sometimes about privacy and allowing people to see what goes on in my home. But I try to be careful. I do. Like even when I post pictures of my kids in their uniforms, I try to block the logo. I'm careful about some of the followers. Like sometimes they will ask me private questions like, "Where are you? What are you doing this weekend?" And so I'm careful about like answering questions like that. But for the most part, just like Rachel said, I've learned so much from my followers. I have moms that message me all the time about speech, about developmental delays, and my heart goes out to some of them, and I just want to help them. I want to maybe guide them to where to look for services or what to do with their children, but it's definitely made me a better mom and also made me more grateful for my children, my husband, my family.
In a way, do you feel like it's allowed you to learn to be more patient?
Definitely.
Which is very odd because you're so busy. And I'm sure the blog keeps you very busy that it's funny that you would learn patience from.
I wake up early every day to just have some alone time. I don't know about you guys. To drink my coffee and check my blog and just to have some peace before the kids get up and they have to get ready for school. So, yeah.
Now, with you, Zena, you talk a lot about education, so it's a specific topic. Rachel and Lisa, we talked about how you're kind of bringing somebody into your life, your everyday life. So is it challenging sometimes do you think about what you're going to post? Is it a little bit more spontaneous? Are you making, you had a pasta dish the other day, so are you making pasta and you're like, oh my God, I should have blogged about it, or do you plan it ahead of time?
That's a really good question. So my blog is completely spontaneous. When I have something to post, I will post. If I don't have something to post, you're going to see nothing on my page that day. Because first and foremost, my family comes first. So if I have something, so to answer your question, I've absolutely made something and completely did not record it. And after I'm like, why didn't I record this? This would have been so good for my blog. So sometimes it's an afterthought. So no, I don't plan everything. Like I was on a vacation for a little while and I didn't really post while I was gone. And people are like, where are you? Where are you? Are you home? And I'm like, oh, I'm just taking a little break. But, so really when I have something to share, I share it. And I'll share mom hacks. I'll share, recipes or products that really have helped me. So yeah, it's spontaneous completely. So if you don't see me on there, it's.
I noticed you don't have as many posts. I know you haven't been doing it as long, but you don't have as many posts. So now I understand why.
And because I feel like posting takes a lot of time, and time is of the essence. Yes. So for me, when I actually write the post, I take my time. I read it 100 times. I make sure I don't have any spelling errors or whatnot. So I'm very careful about my posts, but I should post more. You're right. But it all happened when it's time. So.
But you work at your own pace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Literally.
So now with Rachel, you talk a lot about raising your kids on your page. How do you figure out your posts? Do you ever hit you're about to discipline and you go time out, and then
No, so, and I addressed this recently on my post where I do post a lot and I know it's not planned, where I'm practicing practical life skills with my kids. Like on my story right now is my 3-year-old baking a cake with me, and he's cracking an egg on his own. And these are day-to-day things that always occur no matter what. And I like to record them to show moms that children aren't capable of so much more than we give them credit for. So I like to motivate them in that sense. But what I addressed recently is how, I get messages all the time like, you're so patient, how? And I'm like, well, you guys have to understand, I'm not recording myself snapping on my kid. So what I have tried to plan and make more of an effort of is when my kids are having a meltdown, I try to respect them. I don't want them to see that I'm recording, but I do want to show the reality of what happens in our home and how I handle that. Yes. In my form of discipline, the gentle, respectful parenting. So I've started to do that more recently and showing my followers the reality of what's going on, and they've responded very positively to it.
So can you tell us a little bit about gentle, respectful parenting?
Yeah.
And how this makes your page unique?
Yeah, I've been studying child psychology for many years now, and basically gentle parenting it's meeting a child where they're at. And understanding that they have very underdeveloped brains. Their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed by any means. So they are experiencing emotions that are too big for them to handle. And instead of punishing them for those big emotions and acting out when they experience these big emotions, we are guiding them through them and helping them to give them an outlet and handle these emotions in a healthy manner that will allow them to grow into adults who have well-developed problem-solving skills, empathy, respect, and just emotional health, not having to recover from any type of trauma in childhood.
Mm-hmm. And do you notice that a lot of your followers are understanding this method, or are they asking lots of questions? Is it something that's developing a lot of interest?
Oh, I would say on average I get 20 questions a day. What would you do? For example, today I had someone ask me, what would you do if your child was crying because of this, this, and this, and I've tried this, this, and this. What's your take on it? Mm-hmm. And I love that. I love getting these different scenarios, and I have a bunch of IGTVs, which are little videos, offering methods that I use that are universal, but people like to ask specific questions, and I love that. So, I've had such a great response. People have told me they've noticed a 180 turn in their child's behavior once they started practicing gentle parenting.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. I had never heard of it, so I'm glad now I know about it. And I wanted to remind our viewers that please feel free to ask questions. I noticed there's many that are tuning in, and I'm sure you have questions to ask, and I'd love to be able to read them off to our bloggers. So back to what makes your page unique. Can you tell us a little bit, Lisa and Zena, about your pages? Why don't we start with you, Lisa? How would you say, what aspects make your identity unique as a blogger?
I would say like I said earlier, I work full time. I have 3 children. And I would say that what sets my page aside is I'm also an allergy mom. So my oldest child has a tree nut allergy. And of course, it's near and dear to my heart, every child or person who has an allergy. So I really like to talk a lot about it on my posts. I like to enlighten others, because just because you might not have an allergy doesn't mean that you can't help someone who does. So I basically, I share my faith too. My faith is really important to me. And I try to show people that, you can have a full plate, just like my name says. Work, cook, clean, repeat, because that is how probably all of our days go. You can also find time for prayer. You can find time to help people. You can find time to, share, products that work for you.
Yes.
And that could help someone else. So I would say that, my page is there's a lot of things going on with it. But it's just like I have a saying that's on my page. It says, keeping it real through life's challenges. And I like to just be open and honest and just say, hey, this is my life. So, most people can relate to that natural everyday thing that they go through. So
to some degree, it's nice to see that the women that, if I'm not a blogger, to see that somebody else is going through the same journey that I'm going
Yes,
through, and the
I
same
get that all the
struggles.
time. A
Yeah.
lot of people will write me and be like, "Oh my gosh, I went through that today too. Thank you so much for posting. It's really nice to see, honesty." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. Like we're all moms and we're all in this together."
Yes.
And I feel like for me personally, I've learned, just like Rachel said, I've learned so much from not only followers but other mom bloggers who share their lives and kind of give me the courage to do it too. So yeah, it's really rewarding, I would
That's
say.
very nice. Zena, with you, what would you say? What aspects make your identity unique?
Well, definitely I emphasize education and early education. It's more of a play-based. I promote sensory play through my sensory kits. And
Which you make and you customize.
I do. I make and I customize them around a theme. Usually it's a book. And then I also promote literacy. I sell Usborne books, so I'm an Usborne consultant. And my main purpose is to motivate women, especially women in our community, to help their children, sit with their children, because I'll get messages all the time saying, how does your kid know how to read at 4? How does your kid know how to add up to 100? And he wasn't just born like that.
No.
I sit with him. I put a lot of time and energy into my children, and I kind of want to motivate other women to do that too, to sit with your children.
That's one of the things I have to say I appreciate about your page when I follow you. All of you, I think I've just been following Zena probably the longest. Is I see the amount of patience that you have with your children, and my children are growing, and sometimes I'm like, I wish I could go back in time and do this different. You incorporate a lot of learning, but you just make it a lot of fun.
I do, and I always say that. Children learn through play. Play is a child's, education. That their job is to play, and that's how they learn. And it doesn't have to be so strict. They can learn through play and let it be easy. Let them enjoy their childhood. We don't have to be so hard on our children, and they'll be fine. They'll learn. But I do want to encourage sitting with your child, whether it's eating, playing, reading a book, whatever it is, just make time for your children.
It's very nice. And it's something I feel like with the world that we live in today, everybody's so busy. And the parents are so busy with academics and sports, and the kids have to go to tutoring, and we have to do Kumon, and we've got to do this. And they've got 3 different sports that they're playing at the same time. I feel like there's no time to just stop.
Well, that's another
Stop
thing.
and appreciate your family time.
Yeah. It's another thing. It's not a competition.
Yeah.
I always say that, what somebody's child's doing doesn't mean that your child's going to be doing the same thing at the same age. They all develop at their own pace, and we have to follow their pace.
Yes. So as we're talking about our busy lives, and then you mentioned your faith and how you try to work your faith into your life no matter how busy it is. And I think that's one of the things we forget. We're so busy with our kids because we want them to be very smart and top in their class and very competitive in sports. So often we see faith takes a back burner. And no matter what, and Lisa has explained it, no matter how busy your life is, there's a way to bring faith into your life. And you could tell us a little bit about your rosary story. How do you find time?
So I I was breastfeeding my youngest, and I would have all these bottles. I had an oversupply of milk, so I would, after every bagging and freezing, I would have a sink full of dishes and bottles and whatnot. And I just started, thinking, how can I incorporate my daily rosary where I'm actually focusing on the mysteries, because a lot of times that can get lost when you're praying the rosary. And I found it best that when I've got my sink full and I've got a lot of dishes to do, that I do my rosary every morning with my dishes in hand. So I'm not only washing dishes and getting a chore done, but I'm also, praying. and really focusing on the mysteries at the same time, because it's usually alone time. Nobody wants to be around me when I'm washing dishes. I mean, let's just be real. So I do have that free time, to do that.
Yes.
So I simply just posted it on my story one day, and I just said, hey, and I posted a real deal picture of my sink loaded, and I said, next time your sink looks like this, pray the rosary. And I just said, try it. And I can't believe how many people responded and sent me pictures of their full sink and told me that they're praying the rosary, and have told me that my little tip is inspiring them to pray the rosary daily. So that's so beautiful and so rewarding for me, just to know that even if I got one person to pray it, like that's all it was for then.
Then it's all worth it.
Yeah, totally.
We do have one message, and it's for Rachel from your mom, Lorraine, who says she's so proud of her daughter.
I love you.
And I just want to share that. So thank you, Lorraine, for sending the message. So as long as we're talking about faith, I wanted to expand on that. How important, obviously, your faith is very important to you. At what age is a good time to introduce your faith to your children?
From the minute they're born.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put holy water on my children after every bath. Something as simple as that.
Thought of that.
Yeah, we just for protection. I say the Hail Mary and Our Father. Something simple, and by 2-3 years old, they know it. Just by saying it daily right before they sleep. Fasting as a family on Fridays or Wednesdays, giving up meat and explaining to them. Those are just some of the things we went to Mass every Sunday prior to COVID. I would take all 3 of my kids every Sunday.
I would see her there.
Car seats.
Oh my gosh, it was so much work.
Yes.
But I wanted it was so worth it. And I wanted them to be in the church from day one.
And I would watch her, and I'd just say, oh my God, I remember those days. And we would always tell, my husband would always tell Andy, her husband, like, it's going to get easier. It's going to get easier. But at the same time, I'm like, God, I give her so much credit for coming. It's so hard. Nobody wants to deal with their kids at church. Nobody wants to be the parent with the kids that are crying, But at the same time, you always have to give credit that you're taking the chance to bring them and you're...
And the church encourages it now, which I love. Bring your crying children. We want you there. So that's definitely encouraging.
Now it's
And
a lot
the
of
parishioners, too, are so understanding.
That's
I
great.
agree.
It is
I
a good
agree.
feeling. You look over your shoulder, so sorry. And you're like, oh, don't worry about it. I've been there. And it's
yeah.
oh, thank you.
We brought Joseph to church, and Gabriel, 4 days old. The next Sunday after they were born, and people were like, just commending me for it. And I'm like,
It is amazing.
yeah, it's just, for us, and even on my blog isn't a Catholic blog, but I do, for example, today's the Feast of the Archangels, and I have a little Gabriel, so, I post how we celebrate the feast days of my kid's patron saint, and, we bake a cake every year, and he knows it's his feast day. We teach him all about the saint. And, we do little traditions, like we celebrate St. Nicholas. We have them put their shoes outside of their door and fill their shoes with candy.
so cute.
Yeah. My followers have said, that's so cute. I didn't even know that was a thing. So little traditions like that, I feel like keep it fun and spark their interest.
And it's so nice to be an inspiration to your followers, too. Yeah. Sometimes it takes somebody to just mention something, and then others will follow.
It's not roses and sunshine all the time.
No.
It's just, I'm keeping it real. That's what I do. It's not. And sometimes we leave that Mass. I don't remember the gospel. I don't remember. Maybe I said a prayer
of doing something,
yes,
harming
maybe
somebody
I said a
mind.
prayer, maybe not. But that's the reality. But to me, it doesn't matter. I'm there.
still
at
pick
least
up and go back.
At least I came.
Yes.
Not to mention, I do have a family relation to one of our priests, Father Patrick Settos, happens to be my brother. So, I better be up front and center.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very nice to see that you guys are young moms, you have young children, that you're raising them in the faith, which is just amazing. Amazing to see, because we live in a world now that has so many challenges. It's even harder.
Yeah, it's very scary.
So, we appreciate that as we're watching. What is the most challenging aspect of being a mom blogger? Do you ever wake up and say, I'm not in the mood to be EduKids mom today?
And when
or
I
work-
don't,
or Rachel wife life.
I don't blog when I'm not in the mood or I have a busy day. I just leave. I just don't blog that day. And I think the hardest part is keeping up. Sometimes, you do want to have material for your followers. But again, just like Rachel said, when I feel like this might be too much right now, I take a little break. It might be a day, it might be a couple hours, but I take breaks.
Do you find yourself going to your blog as an escape sometimes? It's very odd, but we've developed relationships with other people on social media that we've never met.
I've become friends with so many of these other mom bloggers, and I've collaborated with them. And I know you have a giveaway coming up. I have a giveaway coming up with other mom bloggers.
Check out our pages.
Yeah, within our community. And some of these women are amazing. They're attorneys and moms. They have, just like Lisa, full-time jobs. And they're great mothers. They're taking their kids to sports. And, they're it's amazing. We're all learning from each other.
Yes,
I mean, I've
totally.
learned from Rachel. I've learned from Lisa.
Absolutely.
Very nice. What advice would you have for new mom bloggers or somebody that's thinking about it in the audience today?
Do it.
Be authentic.
Be authentic.
Yeah.
Rachel, what would you say?
I agree with being authentic. You want to stay true to who you are. We all have something to offer.
Yes.
And, everyone has that unique thing about them that other people can learn from. So just be who you are, and people can learn from that.
And it's social media. So, I mean, not one person owns one thing. Anybody can, blog about anything in their life. There's not just going to be one working, like me, I work, I'm full-time work. There's not going to just be one full-time working mom out there and it's got to be me. Anybody can, if you've got something that you want to share, do it. The night that I made my blog, and this is a true story, I made the blog and I was like, I'm just going to make it and see what happens. I woke up with 32 followers the next day. And I'm like, I didn't have one post. It was just like my picture. And it said a working mom keeping it real through life's challenges. That's all I put. And then I woke up to the followers and I was like, all right, I'm doing it. Yeah. And I did it. And that is literally how
And there's
it
no
happened.
turning back.
There was no turning back.
Enjoy her blog. She's funny and she keeps it real. And I seriously will look at my phone and I start laughing. And then, I've known Lisa for a long time, but I get to see her every day and she's really funny.
I would say that whenever I put LOL, I really am laughing. Yeah, because I like to. It makes life easier when you smile.
Yes.
So.
And the cleaning tips.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my
That's
God.
I love cleaning.
Yes.
Those are actually my most popular posts.
They're my
sometimes not even the
favorites.
educational stuff. It's organizing and cleaning.
Yeah.
Those get the most
Well,
likes,
I went through
most
the journey with
questions.
you, and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to turn around and buy this cleaner. And that's where I'm like, where does she get her energy from?
I don't know. Coffee.
And I don't drink any.
I know.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, I'm a big coffee drinker.
Coffee. So, and then, but you notice those are your most successful posts?
I think so. And then I checked right now what was my most successful post, and it was a post about myself, a little background about myself. So I usually don't post pictures of myself or I don't videotape myself as much. And I think that put a face with my blog, and people felt like they could somehow relate, but that was the most liked post. And then my Halloween decorations on my porch. So
The mums.
the mums and the pumpkins. And so home decor gets a lot of likes as well and popularity.
How about with you, Lisa? What was your most successful post?
My hack with the baby powder. I don't know if you saw
I don't
it.
think I've seen that one.
So if you've got an oil stain, you don't need to throw away your shirt or your tie, your husband's tie or whatever. When you've got that oil stain, you just take some baby powder. And by the way, this is the only thing I use baby powder for, is this hack. You take a generous amount of baby powder and you just pour it right on top of the oil stain, and you let it sit for like 2 days or so. And then you come back to it, shake it off, and then the spot will have like a pigmentation of where all of the baby powder went, and you just scratch it and it's gone, and then throw it in the wash. So that was that was a hit right there.
Where did you
And
learn that from? Did you get it from another blogger?
No, I was at a baby shower and I was pregnant and I was so, what's the word I'm looking for? Clumsy. And I was eating and of course it fell on me, and someone had the baby powder. A friend of mine had the baby powder in her bag and she's like, put it on there. So I put it on there and it actually did come off within like 30 minutes. But just when I do it, I like to keep it on for like a day or two to really give it a chance. And then like potato chop, I made potato chop.
I'm sure you got a lot of followers.
I
for that.
did. A lot of people asked a lot of questions about that. And I
There's
tried,
something about cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mabasima.
Yeah. Oh,
I get
yes.
so many questions.
Which you could purchase.
You could
Yes.
purchase through my link in my bio. But
Even getting the courage to make those big things our moms
Right,
make,
I can't
like
believe
tahrata and and kufta, and like those things that they're kind of
when you see younger bloggers
Yes.
making these things, you're
It is.
encouraged.
You're
I can do
encouraging,
it
yes.
too, and
Absolutely.
Didn't look
Yeah.
that hard.
And I actually made a healthy version of tahrata with whole wheat flour.
I remember that.
And organic beef.
Oh, the whole wheat. And how did the dough taste?
So you still have to
Good.
put a little bit of white flour. I did use organic, but you still have to, otherwise it'll completely crumble.
Oh, okay. And then, so Rachel, what is your most successful post?
So I do IGTVs a lot, and usually they're disciplinary methods. And I did a breastfeeding for beginners one, and I also did one on how to use the haka. So that was really popular, and yeah. So I would just say all my IGTVs are pretty popular.
Those are
Yeah.
very nice. How do you want to improve yourself in the next year?
Oh my gosh, I always say if I only had more time, or if all three of my kids were in school full time. I have a lot of ideas that I want to move forward with, especially with like the educational content and even like lesson planning and my sensory kits and my Usborne.
Which you brought here today.
Yeah, it's for Lisa's daughter. She ordered one and she didn't get a chance to pick it up, so I'll just show you a little bit. But they're all basically around a book. So this one's How to Catch a Unicorn. So this is a unicorn-themed sensory kit, and I make my own Play-Doh. And there's a lot of loose parts and cookie cutters, and it's for imaginative play. And a lot of times also they're used in speech.
What
and
age
they
group is
encourage,
this good for?
I encourage 2.5 and up, maybe to 6 years old, but I encourage it for sensory play, for creative, imaginative play, and it's really been a big hit.
Yeah.
The different things, like the unicorn one and the dinosaur and construction theme one have been the most popular kits.
They have been. Okay. That's great. How about with you, Lisa? How do you want to improve yourself in the next year?
Keeping it real, I haven't even thought about it. I don't know.
So, in keeping it real, we had if I can get the message here, let's see. Somebody just said, they just love how you show the messy pantry and shut the door and walk away.
That was awesome. That was wonderful.
Because in all honesty, how was I going to get through my workday with looking at it? No, really. How was
that's
I
the
going to
whole keeping
continue
it real.
working, looking at that pantry? I just had to shut the door and I was like, listen, I'll talk to you later. But by posting it, really, honestly, it also encouraged me to make sure I do it. Because I'm like, I can't just keep this pantry looking like this and show everyone and not show them that I that I cleaned it.
Somebody
So I
said they
cleaned
just wanted to give a shout out to you
it. So thank you.
and how much they appreciated that.
Oh, thank you so much.
And Rachel, how about with you and your blog?
So I'm always looking to improve. I'm staying up to date with all of the latest child psychology and, holistic health tips. But another huge component of my page is Montessori education. And many people have this conception of Montessori being like expensive wooden toys. And I like to utilize budget-friendly, things you already have in the home. And I have so many activities in the back of my mind that I haven't actually put, into fruition that I'd love to post more of on my page. So I would say that.
how, what would you say, has any of you experienced a failure in your blog? Something that you've posted that maybe you got a lot of criticism for, or kind of created a problem where you thought twice, like maybe I shouldn't have posted this.
The only thing I can think about, and it's so silly, were these containers, the OXO containers.
Oh, yeah.
That I thought didn't work very well, and they were so expensive, and everyone was buying them. And then I had so many messages saying they work for me, and like it's just about I just made a comment about these containers, but that's really the only thing I can recall.
I had something, it was actually very funny, and I appreciated it because I laughed so hard. I posted a chicken dish, and I put, who wants the recipe? And like had a yes or no, and like a few people put no. I thought that was funny. I laughed actually. I was like,
Sometimes it's an accident.
okay, but
Right,
if
right.
it was, I hope it wasn't, because to me it was so funny that people actually said no. I was cracking up.
And you can see who says no too.
Yeah,
so it's
and
funny.
so
So, it's
what?
probably it was.
But they said no, but I still posted it. But I just cracked up. I thought that
Right.
was really funny. But so far, I've gotten nice feedback. So I mean, I can't imagine very many people would tell you something bad. But
Yeah.
I
mean,
guess
if we weren't
that
having
happens.
fun with it, I don't think we'd be doing it.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I have a good time and I enjoy it. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't take that much time from my family.
Rachel?
With a large following, it's inevitable that you're going to get negative comments here and there. So I have gotten some negative comments, but I mean, for the amount of controversial stuff that I post, I mean, I talk about sleep training and breastfeeding and holistic health. I mean, these are some hot button topics in the community. And I've gotten majority of the feedback is very, very positive. I mean, I've had people say, like, why do you do that? But a lot of the times when I explain it, they're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So really, no, I can't. I mean, there's been some posts that haven't gotten a lot of engagement, but nothing super negative, no.
That's good. That's good. So I think all your followers are watching because all I'm getting is just lots of compliments. Kirsten, Rita, who says, Zena, Simona, Abraham, your sensory kits are great. Lisa, love your realness. And Rachel, I so appreciate your holistic approach to living. All such wonderful and inspiring mamas. And,
Thank you,
and you guys
Kristen.
are.
Thank you.
Very much so. So,
That's so nice.
anybody that wants to ask a question,
Ask
I can
away.
only ask so much.
Or also, and then if you guys want to private message us,
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Of
a lot
course.
of times people want it to be private, and we appreciate that.
And I do
so.
believe that we did list the names of your blogs so that they
So they
can
can
either
follow
follow, and ask. So how do you attract your followers?
I use a lot of hashtags.
Yeah.
So that's one way that I attract maybe not people in our community or people that know us.
Yeah.
So I use a lot of hashtags. Or I'll tag, let's say I'm talking about a certain product and I'm using it, I'll tag that company. And then a lot of times they will repost what I posted. So people that see that post will end up following me. That's mostly, I think, how I attract my followers.
Your followers.
Me too.
Lisa, Rachel, how about you guys?
To piggyback off that, I noticed a recent surge in my growth, and it was because accounts that had a huge following not only posted me on their story, but they posted me on their post, and that gave me like thousands of followers. So that was huge for my account. It was my pregnancy announcement and, things with my pregnancy. Everyone wants to follow a pregnant blogger for some reason, especially a holistic one. And I'm sharing a lot of tips for, easy and fast delivery and, pregnancy health, pregnancy safe workouts and pelvic floor exercises, foods I'm avoiding, foods I'm making it a point to have, things like that. So, people want to know about that, especially first-time pregos. They want to follow someone like that. So that's been really helpful for my page.
I see it's always nice to see other bloggers promoting
Yeah.
bloggers.
We
and-
do.
and
We all
new
help each
ones.
other,
Yes.
honestly.
Yeah.
There
And
hasn't been,
And I'll see it all the time, like sharing,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
very nice to see.
It's been nice. It's a good community of bloggers.
I
It
think
really is.
what makes it enjoyable for us too as followers is when we watch everybody engaging with one another. It makes it more enjoyable to watch than it being a competition.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel any competitive
do I.
nature amongst the bloggers. We're all very, I really like the relationship we all have.
Yeah, and that's I think it's what makes it nice. It helps build relationships and really makes your page even more successful.
Absolutely, for sure.
You know, and I think benefits the community.
I agree.
Yeah. Lisa, were you going to say
Yeah.
something?
Well, we all have different opinions on things. So,
Right.
you know, something that might work for me might not work for you or you know. So I remember I had posted about breast pumps, and I have 3 of them. And so I did like a full-blown review on all of them, knowingly that some other people, you know, they might love this one that I hate. So like I was full disclosure, hey, this is my opinion. You know, you should absolutely, it's my experience. You should absolutely try it if you want to. I'm just sharing, you know, what my view is. And I think all of us as bloggers, you know, that's what we do. We share stuff that work for us. And if it doesn't work for someone else, it's okay. You know, no one, you know, no one's.
So it's one thing to decide you want to start a blog. And in Lisa's case, she got the 39 followers. And she said she was 32 and she was going to go with it.
39 would have been good.
32, 39, you know.
Whatever.
But what motivates you to keep your blog open?
I think
It's kind of like you
right.
start, but then you can't go back, kind of.
I think
you
helping
know.
other mothers. I really respect some of these mothers that reach out to me and ask me questions, because what I notice is, just like Rachel and Lisa, we are all trying to do the best for our children.
Yeah.
We all love our children. We all want the best for our children, but some of us don't know how, or don't know where to look, or where to start, or what products to use, and they really don't. And they look to us because they think maybe we know a little bit better about certain topics. And I think that's just so rewarding. And I think that's what really motivates me to keep going. And I've seen a huge difference in so many mothers trying their best to teach their children, you know, or try to find like fun play-based lessons and encourage reading and other activities.
Very nice.
There's so many moms ask me, like, how do you have the time to research so much? And, you know, we all just have certain passions. And for me, I just genuinely enjoy researching things. It's my personality. I don't know what it is. I just have a strong passion. When I'm passionate about something like child rearing or, you know, educating children, holistic health, I get so engulfed in it. It's the same with Catholicism. I get so engulfed in it, and I just need to know everything about it. And some people don't have the audacity for it. And so it's nice that there can be a platform where you can find someone who already did that that diligence.
It's true. Yes.
And it worked for them, and they're sharing it.
Right.
Yeah.
I would do it anyway because I love it. So why not share that with people who don't love it, who don't enjoy researching and digging and doing that, you know, that diligence.
And possibly enlightening someone.
Yeah. And that's and like Zena said, it honestly is so rewarding. And people message me all the time, I'm sorry to bother you, but I have a question. I'm like, you're not bothering me. I love this.
Right.
That's very, very nice. Lisa, how about with you? What
forgot the
inspires
question.
you every day to continue blog, to move on, to keep doing this? Once you're past your 32 followers.
Yeah, so I think I have like 800 now.
Awesome.
And what inspires you every day to work, cook, clean, and repeat?
First of all, I don't have a choice.
And I said it perfect.
You know what? Listen, we're all moms, and if I can do something, or if I was able to get through something and I can just share that and be real with someone else and say, listen, you're not the only one who's working, cooking, cleaning, and repeating it, okay? You're not the only one with that dirty pantry. You're not the only one, you know, who's going through something, you know? So I would say that that's it. My reason for doing what I do is just to, you know, show other people that, hey, you can do it all, because we're moms. Like, we are superwoman.
I think one of the things that I find refreshing about the stories that you guys are sharing is that we live in a world now where social media shows everything perfect. And it's like,
not me.
You know, and you
saw
see the
my
commercial with the, you know, the selfie, and she's like, I'm having my best day, but she's really just so hurt and depressed because she wasn't invited to something. And, you know, looking at these pictures and on social media, everything does look perfect. And I think what's nice, especially about work, cook, clean, and repeat, is that, you know, life is not perfect, but it's okay.
but it's
Also why you
okay.
It's
don't see
okay.
me very often. In
Yeah,
my
I don't really
posts.
show myself
That's
very
also,
often either.
you know, the house, the kids,
Yeah.
and me cannot all
No.
look great at the
No,
same time.
otherwise you're going to see me in my pajamas, okay?
So we got our first question from
good.
Niran. Thank you, Niran Carmo, for your first
thank
the
you.
first question. How many hours do you spend daily blogging?
Like a total, I would say maybe an hour, like total.
Not even that. I don't
Not yeah, maybe not even that. If I was to calculate the whole day,
Well,
maybe
you
an
think
hour.
about each story is what, 30 seconds? And
Right.
if we have like 10 stories, it's, you know, it's not even an hour, I feel
No.
like. Yeah.
Sometimes I would say.
But I look
Yeah,
at
I look-
yours,
yeah,
and
I
like
do
I look
too.
at other, you know, bloggers. Maybe so I
Questions, answering
right,
questions is a
answering
lot.
questions.
Sometimes
Yeah.
the DMs are out of control.
I know. I would say an hour.
Yeah.
If I had to guess,
That
I would
sounds
say
right.
Does
an
it
hour.
become overwhelming sometimes with the DMs? I call them private messages,
Okay,
but I'm part of a different
not
age.
really. You know, I actually go through and I answer every single one. But sometimes, like when I've just done a big post and then it's dinner time, so I kind of have to figure out. Like it's a personal problem. Let's just say that. Like I have to figure out when's the right time to post things because if I'm posting it right before dinner, I don't have time to answer everyone's. And sometimes I'll look at something and want to answer. So I would say like I got to just figure it out. I'm new, you know, and honestly, I'm imperfectly perfect, and that's good for me.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I do get overwhelmed. I have usually 20 to 50 messages in my inbox at one time. My followers get a kick out of it because I do the recording where I'm like, hey, sorry, I'm driving, so I'm going to answer like this, and I record myself talking
I've
to
done
them.
that before too.
Yes.
But a lot of the time I wait, you know, and they sit in my inbox for a little while, and thank God my followers are super understanding of that. When I do have the time, if they're, you know, if my boys are asleep, I'll do fun things where I'm like, ask me a question about this topic, and then I have the time to answer those questions. A lot of times they don't get answered. My followers are all very understanding of that, and they know to ask next week or whenever the case may be. But people understand. I mean, we're all moms, we're all busy, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I make it a point to answer every single DM I get.
How has COVID-19 impacted your content and what you're writing about?
Well, I got so many more questions once everybody
It's
was
homeschool.
sitting home and homeschooling, and I almost felt the stress of it too. I'm like, oh my gosh, my followers want more lesson plans and for multi-age. So definitely I started doing a lot more educational content once COVID hit and people were sitting at home more.
They needed ideas.
And Zena, you were a middle school teacher.
So that's funny. So I was a middle school teacher at Our Lady of Sorrows in Farmington Hills for 15 years. I taught 7th and 8th grade science, and I absolutely loved it. And I sat home after I had my second. But I used to always say, I don't know how these preschool teachers do it, cutting out hearts and, you know, like snowmen and glue and like these little pieces. And now I'm doing it, and I love it. And I could see the joy it brings
Yeah, a teacher.
that is a preschool teacher. And it brings joy to me when I see my kids excited. You know, I'll make these little, you know, sensory bins and I'll bring it out. Like, this is what we're doing today. And there's just a joy in learning. What are we going to do today, Mom? You know, even like I try to make breakfast fun. Just by making pancake, like pumpkin pancakes or like you had Mickey Mouse the other day.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're children once. So I really try, because my mom did that when we were growing up. She made every holiday fun, and I remember like happiness in my childhood. So I want the same for my children, and I want my followers maybe to show a little bit to their children too. And I'm sure they all, you know, everybody does, but
Very nice.
it's encouraging.
Lisa, you started during
Yeah,
COVID-19.
I did. I didn't know what I was doing, and I still say sometimes I have no idea where I'm going with this, but I'm just going to do it. So that's, I mean.
Well, you've got a lot of people that like you.
Oh, thank you. I received really nice feedback, and sometimes I put LOL, thank you. And I do really laugh because it's like, I'm like surprised by it, but I'm not surprised by it because I know that I could, of course, help someone, but it's always nice. So, yeah, to be honest, I had extra time. Like, everybody had time when we were at home, okay? You had time. So I had the free time to videotape the meals I was making, or I made tikhrata, I made budak, I made, potato chop. Like I filled my freezer to the brim. So, I had that time. So I recorded a lot of it. So slowly, I don't have all of that extra time. So like I said, you're going to see me when you see me, and that's it.
That's good. You just keep it real.
Keeping it real. If I got nothing, I got nothing.
How about with you, Rachel?
So for me, COVID actually it helped my blog because I was actually working for 7 years. I was a high-risk OB sonographer working, in a hospital, and then I got a job about 6 months before COVID. I got a job at a private clinic that was my goal ever since graduating, and then I got laid off from there during COVID. So it actually gave me more time to blog. So now I decided to just be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't go back. I'm not planning to go back. So while my kids are young, I'm gonna be home with them, and that gives me a lot more time to dedicate to the blog.
Rachel actually knew the sex of my second child before me.
Oh.
And she was the only one who knew before me.
My friends would come in, and off
Yeah.
the record, I would scan them, and I knew the genders and
Yep.
told them early.
Yep, and she kept it. And she didn't say, I'd grill her so bad. Like, okay, so is it a girl? Come on, just tell me. Is
That's
it a girl?
rookie stuff.
Yeah, and
No.
she'd be like, she straight face, I don't know.
Really nice. Do you have other mom bloggers that reach out to you that are just beginning, that ask? Do people just come out and say, hey, we love your page, you've inspired us, we want to kind of do the same thing?
Not so
Or is
much.
it mostly, are your followers just mostly people that are following your blog and
Other moms
interested?
definitely follow us.
We
They do.
collaborate. I mean,
Yes.
I'm collaborating with a bunch of different mom bloggers like Life of Mama, and then I'm collaborating with Michigan Mom coming up, and Minimalish Mom, and Reem Gappy. I've definitely collaborated with her, and I mean there's some amazing mom bloggers in our
totally.
community. So, but I don't think anyone's reached out to me.
Yeah,
and said,
I haven't
you've
had that
inspired me
either.
to start a blog.
I've had
Not
like,
personally.
I have had like other mom bloggers reach out. So right now on my page you can find, we're doing a giveaway with a few awesome moms, Reem Gappy, Moms and Mimosas, Detroit Heather, and myself. We are giving away a really cool gift, and it's not just one gift, it's a bunch of gifts. You can check it out on my page, like and follow, and you can enter for your chance to win. So that's really exciting. So that's what I have going on.
And it helps you build followers. And
Yeah, absolutely. So their following will see my following, and you've got to follow the rules when it comes to a giveaway. So you've got to like the page and follow all of the moms. But you can enter for a chance to win, and we've got over $200 worth of items in our giveaway. So it's exciting, and we're going to be fair about it. But as long as you follow the rules, so check out my page, check out the other girls' pages too.
Yeah.
What I do want to say is I think EduKids, for me, my blog has opened a lot of doors because I used to make sensory kits for my kids, and then people would message me and say, hey, do you sell those? I'm like, that's a good idea. So I started making the sensory kits and selling them on Etsy, and then selling them within our community. And then I used to, I follow this other blogger. She's not in our community, Mama Notes. Do you guys follow the Mama Notes?
No, we're
No.
She's amazing, but I would follow her, and she would sell Usborne books, and I was like, I love these books. So I looked into it, and I asked her a couple questions, and she got me to be a consultant, and now I sell Usborne books. So for me, it's opened up a lot of doors. I also get collaborations all the time, which I love. It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
It is. So now I want to tell our viewers, for anybody that's interested in asking questions, you can always direct message, DM our bloggers. It's Rachel Wife Life. And then Lisa is Work Clean.
Work, cook,
Work Cook.
clean,
repeat. But there's an underscore in
yes,
between.
there is. I think
So
if you type in work, it'll just pop up.
it'll just pop
Yeah.
up. And she's got 800 followers, so she's the one.
Yep, that's me.
And Zena is EduKid's mom. So For anybody that would like to ask them any questions, if you didn't get a chance to ask here, you're always welcome to go on their Instagram page, follow their page, look for some of their giveaways, and then follow them just for great advice on everything. Like I said, it's always great for me to watch. My kids are older, but I feel like I'm learning all over again through all of your pages and all the other great bloggers within our community.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I think that makes me so proud to see is people that are out there just making a difference in somebody else's life,
And
within our
people
community.
send us, things that you want to know about. So if you want to see more recipes, or if you want us to make a change or add something, we look for ideas
you're
too,
open to
right?
that too, to get
I would
feedback from
totally
your-
love to know. If you don't like something I did, tell me. That's okay. I'm open. I'm a normal. We're all open. We're happy to hear feedback from people. So.
Yeah. And ladies, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Viewers, thank you for tuning in and watching. Like I said again, feel free to direct message our bloggers or ask questions right on the feed. And I'm sure our bloggers would be happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
Everybody have a good night and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thanks, Lisa.